Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you all are doing as well as you possibly can be today, wherever you are in the world and whatever your opinions are of me. It's a bit of a gloomy day down here in southeast Louisiana, and right now I'm sitting in the carpool line waiting to pick up my niece from school. So I thought I'd whip out my laptop because I always bring it with me whenever I go and pick her up from school in case I need to help her out with any homework or anything. And I thought I'd make this video. And what I want to do is talk about my experience at Mission Pro Wrestling Tournament Out of Hell this past Friday night at Pinball's Kingdom in Buda, Texas. Now, I'm not going to come on here and do a wrestling review because I'm not that kind of guy. I didn't go there to be an analyst or anything. I went there to enjoy myself as a wrestling fan, and I enjoyed myself more at Mission Pro Wrestling Tournament Out of Hell than I ever have at any WWE show or the TNA house show I went to in 2011. It was just a wonderful experience. If you are looking for a review of the show, I know Giorgio ASMR, I believe is what he goes by on YouTube. He did a great half-hour review or so of Hell Hath No Fury, and he also did one of Out of Hell. So check him out on YouTube. And you can also go check out my friends Gary, Will, and Rob, the bearded trio, over at the This is the NWA podcast on YouTube. They had a great discussion with Mr. D. Vargas of DNC Digital this past Sunday night. They talked about Mission Pro Wrestling for, I want to say, a good hour and a half. And then they went on to talk about AEW Full Gear, which, if you watched the buy-in free on YouTube, you saw that Thunder Rosa showed up after Serena Deeb's match with Allison Kay to challenge her for a rematch for the NWA World Women's Championship, the Burke. So I'm really excited for that. I can't wait. I know the internet blew up when La Mera Mera, I hope I said that right. If Thunder Rosa sees this, I'm sorry. Um, but I know the internet blew up when she came out, and that just speaks volumes as to how great Thunder Rosa is. And yeah, I'm getting choked up. I didn't cry on Friday at all, though. I guess because I was so anxious and so excited. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Interviews. If you want to catch interviews with all these wrestlers, all these great wrestlers from Mission Pro Wrestling, you can check out channels like This is the NWA Podcast, DNC Digital, The Nation Show, O-Faced Wrestling, True Heel Heat Wrestling, and that's just to name a few. They have a lot of channels out there with a lot of interviews with these wrestlers. So, give them a follow on social media and subscribe to them on YouTube because they all are great people, and I'm very proud to, be a fan of theirs. As for me, what can I do better than anybody else in the world? What can I do to what's the best way for me to say thank you to all these people for making Friday night at Pinball's Kingdom in Buda, Texas, the greatest experience of my life? And I think that's this video to talk about my experience because nobody else can speak about that except me. So the drive up there to Buda, Texas was a long one, but I had something to look forward to, and I found my way up there pretty easily. I got there early, got something to eat. Pinball's Kingdom is a beautiful place, great bar and restaurant. The arcade is enormous, and they got a wonderful outdoor venue. They had a carnival. If you were there at Mission Pro Wrestling or you watched on Title Match Network, they had a carnival going on, and it made for a great backdrop. And everybody's saying online how they wish they could have that carnival there for all their shows at Pinball's Kingdom because it really did look good. So I get to Pinball's Kingdom at 4:00. I was sitting in my hotel room for 2 hours watching TV, and I was just so anxious. I really was dying to get over there, and I'm glad I did because I got there. The show was starting to get set up, and I'm sitting at the bar and restaurant drinking some water, and I can't believe that I'm finally here. I can't believe that I'm seeing all these people live in person, and they're walking back and forth through the main entrance of the building like it's nothing. That just shows how humble and down to earth all these people are. And some of them are in their wrestling gear, some of them are not. Made the decision to get up and go to the restroom just to walk around a little bit. And I I stopped because I see two people walking by, and I noticed one of them is Thunder Rosa. And I stopped in my tracks. She looked at me. She saw I had her face shot T-shirt on, and right off the bat, she says, "Hey, Ryan," and that just made my whole world. That my trip could have ended right then and there, and I could have gone home, and that would have been enough for me, because she came up to me, she gave me a big hug, she asked me how was the drive, what I thought was the place, and she was super busy. You know, she's the boss lady. She was getting this show together, but she took the time to talk to me, and that really meant a lot. God, I wish I would have gotten a picture with her right then and there, but I had a few opportunities throughout the night. But I guess I was in shock, and I didn't want to. This is my first time at a wrestling show like this, first time uh, being this close to wrestlers in this capacity. Whenever I went to meet and greets in the past, you would have the wrestlers come in secretly, and they would have private security and everything. The only time you would go and talk to them was, or say hello to them, was when they were sitting at a table. You had to get in line to do that. But these wrestlers were just walking around like like they're ordinary people, and I know they are, but you gotta be in a little bit of shock and awe as to how down to earth they really are, and that's another reason why Mission Pro Wrestling is my favorite wrestling company right now. So I said hello to Thunder Rosa. That was just the beginning of an amazing experience. Went back and sat down. Her husband Brian walked up to me and introduced himself. He knew me too. We talked for a little bit. He told me where I was sitting. He introduced me to Thunderosa and his friend Jeremiah. I was talking to him throughout the entire night. Hell of a nice guy. Uh, great, what's that word? Uh, Great asset. Great asset to the Mission Pro Wrestling team. So I met those three, and it was getting close to time for the VIPs to start going in. So I figured I'd go outside, just stand out there and just see what's going on. And I get a glimpse of Miss Ray Lynn and Miss Holiday. They're having some fun at the Kitty merry-go-round that was sitting outside of Pinball's Kingdom. They were taking pictures. Um, a few more people started to show up. Thunder Rosa came out in her wrestling gear and her makeup, and she was saying hello to everybody in line. I got another hug from her. I told her, "You're the best," and she told me I was sweet. Then one third of the bearded trio from the This Is the NWA podcast, Dr. Rob Stinson, he shows up with his lovely wife Tanya, and he gives me a hug like we had been friends forever, and we had never talked or associated with each other except on their YouTube channel or on Twitter. But hell of a nice guy, Dr. Stinson. It was a pleasure to have met him and his wife. Um, they got lawn behind me. Did temperature checks, got my wristband. I checked in. One of the things that they do for the VIPs is they allow them to take pictures in front of the wrestling ring where all the wrestlers are standing posing, and that's where I first met Thunder Rosa's best friend Monica. I gave her my Kindle. She took the picture. Went and found my seat, and right after I sat down, and this really meant a lot to me. That right after I sat down, Monica walks up to me and gives me a hug and tells me how awesome I am. And that really meant a lot, because we don't talk very much or interact with each other much online. So for her to go out of her way to do that, it was just a split second. I didn't get a picture with her either, unfortunately, but it was just a split second or two. But that that meant almost as much as meeting Thunder Rosa. Honestly, it really did. The wrestlers were cutting promos in the ring ahead of before the show started. Genocide and the Woad did a nice promo on each other. That's the one I really remember the most. Genocide came over to the corner of the ring, right where I was sitting. She said hi to me. She said she liked my T-shirt, my Thunder Rosa T-shirt, so I like that. I met Brittany Nicole. She walked up to me and said hi and asked me how my trip was. So, it was wonderful for people to be so happy to see me, and to feel like I was that much appreciated, because I really did. I may have felt more appreciated that night than I ever did in my life. I got up, went went and purchased some merch. I don't think the wrestlers were set up to sell their merchandise at that point. I think they did most of their selling during intermission and after the show. But I met Mr. D. Vargas and his girlfriend, DNC Digital, on YouTube and on all social media platforms. Give him a follow. He's a hell of a nice guy. He could not say thank you. He could not say thank you enough to me for sharing his stuff, for showing up as often as I possibly can into his Instagram live chats and showing my support for all the interviews he was doing with all these wrestlers. I bought a T-shirt of his. I made a point that night to not buy anything associated with Thunder Rosa, because I've already purchased so many things from her website, and I'm going to be back there soon. Thunderosa.net and missionprowrestling.net. I'm wearing one of their shirts right now. Make sure you go check out those websites. They're wonderful websites. I think Monica Lester. She is one of the she's like the main person in charge of making sure those websites look good. I'm pretty sure about that, and she does a hell of a nice job. So where was I? Okay, I did not purchase any Thunder Rosa merch. I already have a bunch of T-shirts and a bunch of other things from my website. I wanted to take this opportunity to show my support and appreciation for other people. So, like I said, and you can see all these photos on my Twitter account at the True CB. You can also check it out on my Facebook page. And this was my chance to show my support for other people. So I met DNC Digital. The show got started. The matches were amazing. Miss Maddie Renkowski, the PPW women's champion. I wasn't being mean to anybody. I wasn't booing anybody throughout the show. I don't think anybody was really getting booed. But people had their picks for who they wanted to win and who they were cheering for. And I thought, due to circumstances out of people's control, a lot of the card had to change. And I thought Maddie Renkowski was going to go one-on-one with the Queen of House Rose, Rachel Rose, but and my friend Rob and I, we were ready to bend the knee for Rachel Rose, to bend the knee for our queen, but she wrestled somebody else. So I'm like, okay, do I throw my support to Maddie or do I support her opponent? Her opponent's a very nice person. Her name is Jenna Lynn. Everybody was kung fu fighting, but I like Maddie though. Maddie's a great sport, and she comes out to a great song. I love her theme song, Spice Girls Wannabe. But I cheered for Jenna Lynn in that match. Maddie gave me a look because she was in my corner of the ring, right where I was sitting. She gave me a look. I told Maddie after the match she was posing right in front of me. I don't think you can see it on camera on Title Match Network, but she was posing right in front of me with her PPW women's title. And I said, I guess you gave me a reality check, Maddie. I'm sorry. I was wrong. But later on that night, she wrestled Miss La Rosa Negra, who I think is one of my favorite heels right now in professional wrestling. She does it so well. Maddie wrestled La Rosa Negra later on in the night, and I was cheering for Rosa Negra. Everybody was going, Maddie, 2 belts, and I was like the only one going, Rosa Negra. Maddie gives me a look again and tells me, seriously, dude? Like, oh, man. But it's all in fun. It really is all in fun. And I told her that at the end of the night. I think she was the last person I bought merchandise for. She was the last person that I took a picture with, and she asked me, who are you for this time? And I explained it to her, and she was really nice. And when I tweeted her and said thank you, she said, we're good for now. But Rachel Rose had a match with Vanity, bended the knee to her, bended the knee to the Queen of House Rose, but she was more concerned about my friend Rob, who says that his back always goes out every time Rachel Rose approaches him, and he has to get down on one knee. His wife Tanya stands up. She wouldn't bend the knee to her though. And Rachel Rose is looking at Rob, going, "What's wrong with her? You gotta set her straight." Rachel beat Rachel Rose beat Miss Vanity. And the next match was La Rosa Negra versus Heidi Howitzer. Another great match. Heidi Howitzer is 170 pounds of grade A beef. La Rosa Negra for the win in that match. And then another match. Next match was these are all round one matches of the tournament. Vert Vixen fell to the unstoppable Lacey Ryan. I believe Lacey Ryan is still the future Stars of Wrestling Women's Champion. I got more to say about Vert Vixen later on, but I guess this is going to be part one of my video series on my experience at MPW Out of Hell, because I'm about to pick up my niece. I got to get her paper out with her name on it. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to upload this to YouTube, and I'll make another video later on. So until next time, thank you all for listening. Take care and best wishes.